Come to Dandasana, just sitting with your legs out in front of you. It doesn't matter if they're together or bent. Just sit in any position, maybe even propping yourself up, where you can breathe fully. And you're invited to take your hands and place them on your rib cage, maybe closing your eyes so you can really focus. And take a few slow, smooth breaths in and out. And just notice if you can feel perhaps one side of your lungs that is maybe just doing a little bit more of the breathing. And you can move your hands around your rib cage, maybe to the back, maybe down towards your belly, and even up around your chest, like your pec muscles. It's quite common for us to breathe a little bit more on the side of our dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, you may just notice that the left side of your body is not expanding and contracting quite as much. And if you have noticed a discrepancy, then you're invited just to give that side of your body just all around your breathing apparatus muscles. So your belly, your rib cage, your chest, maybe even up to your throat, just a little bit of a rub. And if you're not sure, then just give your whole torso a good rub. And take another deep breath in. And let it go. Can you keep your left leg where it is and just take your right leg out to the side? And I want you to kind of imagine that you're in a triangle pose. So try and keep your torso and even your pelvis facing towards the left foot. Take your left hand to the back of your head, slide the back of the right hand to the inside of the right leg, and take a little bit of a side bend, just to a depth that feels good for you at this point. And wherever you are, just move through a little cat-cow action. So inhaling as you press the chest forward, maybe looking up into that cow sort of shape, and then exhaling into that rounded spine of your cat shape. Let's just go for about 5 more breaths. Paying attention to your breathing and maybe noticing how in this side bend, maybe now you can breathe a little bit more into the left side body. And just enjoying the sensation of breathing into all these different areas of our upper body, maybe even the lower body. And we're going to pause in that sort of cat shape, so that rounded shape. And then can you just kind of keep your body in this shape, but just roll yourself down onto your back? Hardest part of the class, that right there. And we're just going to make our way into a kind of a triangle pose. So if you imagine what a triangle pose would look like, but on the floor. And try and get your shoulders and your hips down so that the side bend is pure and without any forward folding, without any twisting. And you're invited now again to breathe into any spaces that just feel a little bit tight. Maybe you want to have your eyes closed and just focus on your breathing. But if you want to add on, there's an invitation here to open your eyes and take your eyes just to the left and to the right. Maybe choose a focal point over to the left, something you can look at each time, and then over to the right, and move your eyes back and forth. And the faster you move and the further away the 2 points are, the more challenging this will be for your eye muscles. So if this starts to feel uncomfortable, maybe slow it down, maybe choose 2 points that are a bit closer. This is just an action called a saccade. And sometimes it can help us with how we're moving, but if nothing else, it can just be nice to let our eye muscles have a little bit of exercise too, a little bit of mindful movement. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Maybe closing the eyes for these final breaths. And when you're ready, roll over, bringing your left arm over to meet your right, and press your left hand down to lift your torso up, placing both hands down at the back of the mat, coming into a little twist. And we'll stay here for about 3 breaths. Maybe you just kind of work on your twist. Maybe you add a little bit of a wiggle here. Can you just kind of wiggle yourself around, though, so that the left toes are tucked under? Again, maybe just finding the tight spots to breathe into. When you're ready, press into your hands. Just lift the right leg up and slide the knee underneath you. Have the toes, the shin parallel to the long side of the mat. And then roll onto that left leg. Left foot can roll flat, reach the left arm up. So we're kind of in a baby triangle pose. Here, maybe with the hand on your hip, can you do a little sassy hips? So think cat-cow, but we're going laterally, just with the pelvis. So if it helps, if you're struggling with this, I find it really helpful to maybe just give a little tap on the outer hip bone here, the top of your femur. Think about trying to push that up and then trying to push it down to the floor. And again, just move through that at your own pace, maybe pausing somewhere that feels a bit sticky and just sending the breath there. One more breath there. And then lift that right knee up to just come into a seated twist. So you can hug the knee, or if you like to hook the elbow to the outside of the left knee, then you're invited to kind of press, not just with the arm, but with your whole torso into that left knee, like you're trying to untwist and the knee is in the way. And as you do so, you may find the muscles on the left side of the torso are working a little bit. And with that, I want you to try and breathe into the left side lungs. So just think about directing your breath into the left side lungs. And even if you're not hooking, even if you're over here, you can still do this, okay? And sometimes it can just help when we have those muscles activated by resisting this twist, trying to untwist out of this, to feel those breathing muscles working. So obviously air is also going into your right lung. But just working on those left lung muscles. Lung muscles, breathing muscles, you know what I mean. All right, we're gonna untwist out of that. Maybe give yourself a little counter twist over to the left, and then extend your right leg back out to the side. Take your left hand to the back of your head, right hand to the right leg, and then can you crunch into the right side body? So trying to get your right shoulder as close to your right hip as you can. And then slide your right arm towards the right ankle, lengthening your spine. Then crunch back up. So we're staying in the side bend. We're just kind of lengthening the spine and then crunching it up, okay? Maybe breathing as you reach the hand towards the ankle and then exhaling out as you crunch in. So breathing in and breathing out. And then if there's a sticky spot, if there's somewhere you're like, whoa, that needs some extra TLC, maybe you add a little twist there, bringing the left elbow down and then up a few times. Inhaling as you lift the elbow, exhaling as you lower it. Good, we're gonna do that for one more breath and then rise back up. Bend the left knee to bring the ankle towards the hips and just roll yourself over and into a tabletop position with the right leg extended out to the side. And here you're invited just to move through some cat-cows. It might feel nice to press the outside of the right foot down into the floor just to help activate the muscles along the inner thigh a little bit. But maybe you add a little side to side cat-cow, or just some big circles, whatever feels nice. When you're ready, we're going to crawl the hands over to the left. So left hand kind of in line with the left knee, reach the right arm over, and then can you just lean into your left limbs to slide the right foot all the way to the front of the mat. Then bring your right hand towards the right foot, and then back over to the left side. 4 more like that, or so, just moving with the breath. Like always, pausing if there's anywhere that feels it needs a little pause. And then adding a nice special breath there. Inspiration of a little love. Good, and then coming back towards the front of the mat, can you lower the hand over to the right side? Bring the left arm, and imagine you're just doing a little chainsaw action, just cranking up a chainsaw, bringing the left elbow up and back behind you, and then reaching it forward. Just another 2 or 3 of those. Just wringing out the thoracic spine, and then lower both hands down and shimmy yourself down to extend the left foot over to the left side of you. And again, just like where we started, think of a triangle pose, so your torso and even your pelvis facing to the front of the mat. Right hand comes to the back of your head, left arm slides to the inside of the left foot. Take a little bit of a side bend, and then add a few cat-cow actions here. Maybe just bringing yourself back to that awareness of your breath and maybe some of your breathing habits. Maybe breathing more into one side than the other. Maybe you tend to breathe through your mouth and you want to try to hone the habit of breathing through your nose. We're going to pause in that cat shape, rounding through the spine, and hold on to the shape as you roll yourself down into a triangle pose on the floor. So extend the arms wide and try to lower that right hip down, the right shoulder is down. Think about maybe crunching a little bit through the left side body, opening up through the right side body, and just like before, we're going to spend some time here using the breath to just breathe into any area that feels like it's just been kind of like crunched up for too long, and you're blowing up a balloon with each inhale into that area, just expanding it from the inside. And just like before, if you want to add the saccades, the eye movements left to right, you can do that as well. Notice if doing the saccades has interfered with your breathing. All right. A couple more breaths, maybe closing the eyes, letting the eye muscles relax for these last 2 breaths. And then roll over to the left. Bring the right palm down to press yourself up into a little twist. We'll spend about 3 breaths just kind of like wiggling around, shimmying around, getting the right toes tucked under. You can move that left leg wherever it might need to be so that we can lift up when you're ready to bring the left shin parallel to the long side of the mat and roll over onto the left limbs into a baby triangle pose. So right arm can be reaching up or on that right hip if you want it to be there to help you kind of build this proprioception of the side-to-side movement of the pelvis. And I love this movement, which is why I'm sharing it with you. To be able to do this in various forms, various shapes, can be really nice if you have like a tight QL or tight low back or pain there even. Then this is a really nice exercise to bring into various forms. So you can find those sticky spots and then just breathe, maybe going back to what we did at the beginning, giving it a little bit of a rub, rubbing ourselves helps the brain kind of understand what's happening. And we might gain a little better control over a muscle. And part of control of a muscle is being able to relax it, right? Not just be able to switch it on. So those tight muscles can learn to switch off. All right, when you're ready, we're gonna just lift up to bring ourselves into the seated twist. So remember, you've got whatever kind of hook or twist you want to take, all good. We're going to breathe into the right side lungs, but particularly easy to really feel those muscles if you can hook the right elbow to the outside of the left knee and then kind of twist into that knee. So wherever you are, however you're choosing to do this, just honor the fact that you are able to breathe and use this tool of breath awareness to bring yourself into the present moment, into a state of mindfulness, into a state of calm. All right, when you're ready, untwist, maybe add a little counter twist over to the right, and then the left leg is gonna extend out to the left, just like before. Right hand to the back of the head, left hand to the inside of the left leg, and then crunch like you're trying to get the left shoulder to the left hip. So it's a really tight side bend, and then we're gonna lengthen that side bend, and then crunch back up. Try to keep the right sit bone down as you do these little crunches, and you can move at whatever pace you want. They can just be really tiny. Maybe you're just moving in a very small little range of motion. Maybe you're just going super slowly, or maybe you've already found a spot that you're like, oh, I need to maybe add some twists here. Or maybe just breathe a little bit more. Maybe you're getting really fancy and doing twists all the way up and down. All right, when you're ready, rise back up, bend the left, bend the right knee, roll over to come into that tabletop position with the left leg extended. Personally, I think it feels so nice when I press the outside of the left foot down. It activates the inner thighs, the inner thigh muscles. And then moving through a cat-cow with those muscles activated in this particular shape feels really nice to me, so I hope you're enjoying it too. And just like before, just moving with your breath. Maybe just noticing how allowing yourself to move with your breath means slowing down, and that's perhaps something you can take off the mat with you. To just slow down a little bit. Slow your breath and let everything else slow down too. Adding any other little movements that feel good for you here. And when you're ready, take the right hand over to the right, reach the left arm up into this little side plank variation and lean into the right limb so you can slide the left foot to the front of the mat, then reach the left arm overhead. Big breath in. As you exhale, sweep the left hand to the left foot. 3 more like that. And then coming back through the center, take the left hand all the way over to the left and get your chainsaw ready, like you're cranking up some love for yourself, cranking up some compassion for yourself, getting that up to a maximum, and then just lower yourself over to the left. Swing the right foot to meet the left, so you're back in your Dandasana. And maybe just with the arms free, do a little side-to-side twisting. That feels nice. But when you're ready, come back to stillness, and we'll finish with a physiological sigh. So take a nice deep breath in. Pause at the top. Sip in a little bit more. And then slowly let it go. And you're invited to take this awareness of yourself and your awesomeness and your beautiful, wonderful body, to do this flow again and experience it with the benefit of familiarity. Maybe take another class or just move into the rest of your day.